So we'll continue the nonlinear stability. We had last time we were discussing partly, so we'll have a full discussion on this today, as well as Professor Bhatnagar has also carried out the extension for this generalized form. Dr. Hallan and Dr. Sanjay Jain, these three have done a generalization of the study. So that also I'll try to cover. So today I have taken up great giant Andre Diprit, and he was a great friend of Dr. Bhatnagar, and he came to the Delhi conference. I will show you where he is. You can see this figure. This is the one, here he is there. He very tall person. He was around 6 feet 3 inches tall, or even 6 feet 4 inches maybe tall. So we had the opportunity to meet him in Delhi, as well as Professor Bhola Ishwar is here. He also conducted a workshop, international workshop in 95, and he invited him and he came there. And he stayed for a few more days there after the workshop also. So I had the opportunity 2 times. Professor Bhatnagar also was there. So we had the opportunity to meet him twice. Once in Delhi and once in Muzaffarpur. A very, very great personality in the area of celestial mechanics. So quickly I have taken his resume also. You can see he looks so agile, beautiful person. Very, 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 very helpful person. So I have taken his Andre Diprit. His life, he remained 1926 to, he was 2 years elder to Dr. Bhatnagar, and 2006. He passed away in 2006. And same year, same within few months, before or after, I'm not able to recall, his wife, both of them passed away in the same year within few months of each other, 2-3 months only. So he was and I had the opportunity to be his recorder, because he was chairman of one session, and then he selected me. I said, you remain my recorder, because we had to write some questions and things like help assist him. So I was very fortunate to be associated with him for some time. So Dr. Andre Diprit died on November 7. I think his wife died in July 2006, following a long illness. He was born in Saint Servais, Belgium on April 10, 1926. Being a bright student, he obtained a degree in philosophy in 1948 and another in mathematics in 1953, both at the Université de Leuven. There he was a student of Professor George Lemaitre, again great celestial mechanist. We'll cover sometime his biodata also, with his regime. Originator of the Big Bang theory, who had become interested in celestial mechanics and great interest in scientific computing. From 1953 to 56, he studied at Christ College, Cambridge, before running to the University of Leuven, where he received a DSc in mathematics in 1957. Then he started his academic career at his alma mater, first as lecturer, Charles de Cour, and soon after 1961 to 64 as professor. These activities included 2 years at the University of Leuven Center in Kimwenzia. It was not until 1961 that he published his first paper in celestial mechanics. Before then, his main interests were algebra and analysis, with some applications to quantum physics. His first steps in celestial mechanics were related to the three-body problem, doubtless the most studied problem in celestial mechanics. His solid foundation in fundamental mathematics would be present throughout his research. With collaborators and Delhi, Paul Paquet, Jackie Royals, Roger Brooke, and Jackie Hundred, he published a series of papers dealing with periodic orbits and qualitative aspects of the three-body problem. It was with these collaborators that he began his pioneering work on the development of analytical orbit theories that were more suitable for automatic computation. His work drew the attention of Dirk Brouwer, a great giant, and led to Andre becoming a regular participant in the courses organized by Brouwer at the Summer Institute in Dynamical Astronomy at Yale University. One of his lifelong collaborators was his wife, Andre Diprit Bartholom, deceased on July 27, 2006. So same year, both July and November, who had been his classmate in Leuven and later the director of the Department of Computing there. She and Andre worked together on the compression of ephemerides using Chebyshev polynomials, which is now the usual way of representing coefficients in astronomical tables, and on the nonlinear stability theory of Lagrangian points. That the first paper, 1967, on nonlinear stability, which he developed, that was along with his wife. As one of the very fundamental, on which only Dr. Bhatnagar worked with Dr. Hallan, and then we also worked on based on that paper. In the 1960s, the linguistic conflicts between Walloons and Flemish made normal life in Belgium, and in particular academic life, rather unpleasant. Unwilling to expend his energies in such conflicts, in 1964, he obtained a position at the Boeing Scientific Research Laboratories in Seattle, USA, where he remained until 1971. There, with John M.A. Denby and Arnold Rome, he developed a software package dubbed MAO, very, very important, for mechanized algebraic operations, which was the origin of several spin-offs developed in other institutions. This software made possible the extension of Birkhoff's normalization to order 26 for the Trojan asteroids. The great challenge, however, was to implement computationally the linear theory of de Broglie. For this, he found a new and explicit transformation known as the Lie-Diprit perturbation method. Lie-Diprit perturbation method. In his Celestial Mechanics, first issue he published when Celestial Mechanics Journal started. First issue, this paper, fundamental paper, was there, based on Lie series. This was probably Andre's most important contribution to Celestial Mechanics. With his former student Jackie Henrod and Arnold Rome, he not only reproduced de Broglie's theory, but obtained a solution precise to 50 centimeter. The best computation up to that time had an accuracy of only 3 kilometers. You see, 3 kilometers going to 50 centimeter, great jump. This work had a huge impact on Celestial Mechanics, for it showed the enormous capabilities of computers in handling algebraic expressions. It was now possible to simplify, revise, improve, and double-check theories in minutes that once took years to develop. His computer-aided construction of de Broglie's linear theory reproduced the theory while finding only one error at 7th order. So that means the other person did a wonderful job. That took de Broglie 20 years to develop by hand. So 20 years work he had done it, but there was only one minor error. His work was rewarded with the J.C. Watson Gold Medal of the U.S. National Academy of Sciences. With the advent of artificial satellites, Andre's work in celestial mechanics achieved even greater importance. From the beginning, Andre was deeply involved with satellite orbits. With his new method of perturbations and with computers, he made fundamental contributions to the satellite theory. For instance, with the elimination of the parallax, this was a new thing he developed. Conventional expansions were significantly abbreviated, enabling the main problem in satellite theory to be solved in closed form, first order to fourth order, and later he took to sixth. This was a great work which he carried out. With Shannon Coffey and Brooke Miller, he proved that the critical inclination was an essential singularity, and also invented the technique of painting the phase space of Hamiltonian systems, which has been widely used for qualitative analysis of dynamical systems. not only in astrodynamics but also in optics, nuclear physics, and galactic dynamics, and to name only a few areas of application. And this paper was published in Science. I think that is one of the rare publications, technical publications they don't do. And he sent me. He was kind enough to send me a copy of that. I'm preserving that because normally these technical papers won't come. It was on. Andre was an NAS NRC Senior Research Fellow at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center from 71 until 72, after which he became a professor in the Department of Mathematics at the University of Cincinnati, where he remained until 1979. At that time, he joined the National Institute of Standards and Technology, where he was promoted to the senior fellow rank. He continued there until his retirement in 1997. Andre had a natural gift for teaching. He knew how to attract the attention of his students and how to present intricate concepts in a simple way. Thus, while being committed to his intensive research in NIST, he missed the contact with the students. It was then no surprise that he accepted the position of visiting professor at the University of Zaragoza offered him from 1987 until 1998, when his illness became more evident. He would spend 3 months of every year in Spain, deeply involved with research projects and postgraduate courses, and enjoying the Spanish lifestyle. Andre's first language was French, but he knew English better than many of his collaborators, much to their chagrin. Perhaps this was a result of his application of mathematical rigor to language. All who collaborated with him can relate to long hours of endless rewrites, searching for just the right phrase to express the mathematics. His elaborate papers leave a legacy for others to follow. Besides, science, history, and politics were two of his passions. He was well aware of the political situation of the countries he visited and liked to debate politics, sometimes for the pleasure of discussion, but often from a belief it was a citizen's due to debate social and political events. This was molded from personal experiences during the occupation of Belgium in World War II. With respect to history, it was quite frequent that discrepancies on dates, battles, and kings were settled at the Library of History Department. A man of his reputation received from awards, including, for instance, the silver and gold medals of the U.S. Department of Commerce and the Dick Brower Award from both the American Astronautical Society and the American Astronomical Society. He was a fellow of the AIA, Dr. Honoris Causa by the University of Zaragoza, and president of Commission 7, Celestial Mechanics of the International Astronomical Union. Andre Duprit was a man who had many ideas and was more than willing to share them. He wanted others to investigate these ideas, inspired excellence, and motivated critical thinking. It was a pleasure working with such a great mind. His collaborators, colleagues, and students mourn his loss. We all will miss his energy, advice, conversation, great sense of humor, and friendship. See, these great three people have written this. I have taken from ResearchGate today morning when I thought I must take him, because on stability, what to our thing, whatever, there is some Russian papers, but what we have followed, or Dr. Bhattagar and his group have followed, they have followed his paper, and Duprit and his wife's paper. So I thought this is the right place where we should remember him. So Kaiteti Alfred, another great person, and Shannon Coffey was his collaborator, and maybe he might have been his student also. And Antonio Elip is a professor, because he must be inviting him all through there, Zaragoza. So these are all the people who have been very closely associated with him. So that is the thing. You can see Google Scholar citations. You will be thrilled to see the citations. 4,655 in the area of celestial mechanics is a very rare thing. And after 2015, he has passed away in 2006, and 835 have come. H index 31 And after 15, 5th, 16, and I-10 index is 71 and 19. So you see some of his papers, the canonical transformer depending upon a small parameter and then Diprit. That was in celestial mechanics first issue. 1129 citations are there. This must be one of the records. Not many people will be having in this area. You see, we have to see the area wise. The citations are very much dependent upon the area in which we work. Free rotation of a rigid body studied in phase space. This is American Journal of Physics, 242. The illumination of parallax, where satellite theories, he simplified them and made the accuracies very high, 229 times. Stability of triangular Lagrangian points. I think this is the paper which I am talking, which he has done with his wife. That is 214 times. And main problem of artificial satellite theories of small and moderate eccentricities. Diprit, Rome. This is also another good paper, 149. And Bernoulli normalization, Diprit, celestial mechanics. That is the 134. And frozen, some of the top papers I've quickly taken. I was a little short of time. Frozen orbits for satellites close to an Earth-like planet, Diprit. Diprit and E-Diprit, so his wife, it is there. So coffee is there, A-Diprit and E-Diprit is there, 128 times. So this we will start our thing. So this we were doing last time, the effect of oblateness on the nonlinear stability of L4 in the restricted body problem. We had taken to some length, but then we had not completed it. So we'll quickly again restart it from here. So I will the equations of motion. And because what we have taken here is the more massive primary is a oblate spheroid with this equatorial plane coincident with the plane of motion. This is a simple problem. Oblateness we have taken, and only the secular effect of oblateness on mean motion. That is, n square is equal to 1 plus 3a1 by 2. This is with this all the things have been taken, and so we have expanded Lagrangian L0, L2, L1, L2, L3, L4. And now second order Hamiltonian we have written in this form, and then we have solved this. All this we took last time. We got the critical mass from the same approach. This is the similar approach. So this we already had obtained this in 75. So this is the value with oblateness. This critical mass decreases by this factor 0.2850. This has been referred by so many people. This paper also has a citation of around 130 times. So mu0 is there, and then we have taken. See, our approach was that we wanted to work with the perturbed frequencies itself. So that we thought will simplify, and it simplified our things quite a lot. This we have another international conference of. See, this IAF, International Astronomical Federation, once in a while it happens in India. It happens after 20 years almost. So in 88 it was there, then in 2007 it was there in Hyderabad. So we went to Bangalore, both of us went, and there actually Dr. Kalam, he was the director of DRDL. He had delivered a lecture on a very interesting area, with a single set rocket to orbit, something like that, very interesting rocket. So we had an opportunity to meet him again there, because he left our department Trivandrum in 1981 or so, 80 or 81, somewhere around that he left. So we could meet him there, and he was happy that we are working, we are also coming there. So this is the thing, we got this relation. We got there. The perturbed and unperturbed frequencies, see, this is the relation which we have obtained. I wanted to present this paper also in this lecture, but that paper is still not in good condition. Somewhere we will try to find out. Then this again I will talk on this paper, how we have done it. This is also Pedersen's approach we have used here, and it's a very good work which we see. Good means when you are satisfied. I call it that when we are others, of course, also give you appreciation. So when you feel, yeah, you have done something. So normal coordinates, determination of normal coordinates we have determined. And then the approach is almost, we have seen what Diprit has done and what the Henrad and other people, their conditions, Whitaker. Whitaker is a wonderful book, you know. See, this is we have written because we had that edition, but this gentleman has written before 1900. This book is somewhere 1890 or somewhere around that. And great mathematician must be, because many of the things are there in that book. And luckily it was there when in Delhi University, it was in our course. Some chapters of this we were taught by a very efficient, Professor K.C. Gupta used to teach us. Very well known for this kind of thing. So this is all the algebra we have calculated here. HIs and this J we have calculated. The coefficients we have calculated. So all this we by the time when we were doing, we were not able to do some we did, but when we got maxima, we again revised. We found that some mistakes were left there. Again with Whitaker, Whitaker is a wonderful book. I think those who want to do area, this is still there. One can do a good amount of work on this area. So Whitaker book is a thing which I feel people must read some portion. You don't have to read; it's a huge book. You don't have to read, and it's easily available as a PDF in internet. So this in a canonical transformation, these are they do wonders. And you see, with the help of canonical transform, we got such a simple Hamiltonian, and then you can work on this. So we have worked on this. So this shows linear analysis. Once you take up to that Hamiltonian second order, so you get only the linear analysis, and these are all the periodic solution, the elliptic solution, elliptic orbits. This is all the appendix layer. Stability of higher order. It is known that up to this we were doing last time. It is known that H2 is positive definite. Then the Hamiltonian, the equilibrium point L4 is stable by virtue of Lyapunov 1956 theorem for all orders. However, if H2 is indefinite, then the stability can be investigated by means of Arnold's theorem and subsequent extension by Lentovic and Mose. Mose's book is also a very good book, but of course it's a little tough book. So those who are good in in the pure mathematics area or taking those things, they can easily get into this book. It's a little tough book because he writes. He doesn't write a very expanded form. He writes in a very precise manner. It states that if the basic frequencies omega 1, omega 2 are for the linear dynamical system satisfy the inequalities alpha omega 1 plus beta omega not equal to 0, alpha mod plus beta mod less than 4 for all integers pair alpha beta, and their determinant. So these are the things which we need to solve for nonlinear stability. So Mose's first condition. This is simple. This is not a very difficult thing. So we know that in the equalities are violated when omega 1 is equal to 2 omega 2 and omega 1 is equal to 3 omega 2. So if omega 1 is equal to 2 omega 2, then we can put in 8 and 9 equation. From 8 and 9 equation, you can see quickly 8 and 9. It takes little time to go back. But it is worthwhile to go 8 and 9. This is 8 and 9. From this 8 and 9, these are when we are writing some of the roots and the product of the roots, from there you are getting this. So this is this equation implying that we get this value. So the one value where that fails. So this is one value which we have allocated. So this also reduces with oblateness by this factor. This is unperturbed value which Diprit has found out. Diprit has found out. Russian work is also there on this. Markiev's work is there, and then they were also parallelly they were doing. But Diprit has clearly made out this. And then at omega 1 is equal to 3 omega 2, you can get. But these are all simple to calculate. There's not a major issues. The third one is the one which you have to work very hard to get the third singularities. That's not an easy task. So it is thus inferred that between this interval, the mass ratio mu should not assume these two values for higher order stability. They fail. The stability will fail. So now we see the equation. These two are in conflict. With, I told last time, the expression represented by Bhatnagar in this paper, by Dr. Bhatnagar and Rashmi and Usha Gupta. I think three authors are there. So this may be attributed to the error in defining the term P2 in their appendix. The correct expression for P2 should be this. So anyway, if one small error goes, then the whole thing goes into problem. It should be this instead of this. So the 4 is somehow got omitted. You can see here 4 got omitted, and that 4 can do. That's why this is the problem. These things, when we do it, we have to check again and again before proceeding further. So this, and consequently the correct expression for this expression, because one expression goes wrong, then it can lead to other expressions also in wrong. So equation 4, 5 in this, this is Bhatnagar, Gupta and Bharadwaj. So this is Usha Gupta and this is Rashmi Bharadwaj. So this paper, that now we corrected that paper. It should look like this. I'm not talking. I mean, I'm not telling that what expression, but there is a error has gone because of this problem. This 4 was not there, and that made the problem. It is further. It may be further noted that the coordinate system adopted in Bhatnagar and Halan and Bhatnagar and this are not the same. So this has given them the problem. If they had used the same coordinate system, what was used, because this came in 83, and if they would use the same, then probably that error would not have crept in. Are not the same, and we notice that the procedure outlined herein for converting some of the intermediate expressions of Bhatnagar and this to those in this, because they thought plus 2 minus something can work all the thing. It was working most of the time, but in some cases it has not worked. So does not provide the appropriate changes. For example, the sign between the last two terms P12 and also Q12 should be positive instead of being given as negative. So these changes being in error in the subsequent expression 2 and also in L4, and hence the expression for mu3 dash in this in Bhatnagar et al. Also needs correction. This will be addressed in detail in separate. Anyway, we wanted to address, but when afterwards we were busy in so many other activities. So because it's a huge work, it's not an easy task to do calculation of these things. So afterwards we have not addressed to any other, but we were thinking at that time that whether we can take up that study and correct it. Second order normalization of Hamiltonian. For reducing the Hamiltonian S of the normalized form, what we have given, we utilize Handred's method. Handred is another, I used to think Handred is a student of Diprit, but nowhere because he also from Belgium and he was younger to him. And that Diprit, this is Diprit and his wife, in which the coordinate xy are to be expanded double D'Alembert series. This double D'Alembert series, where they are to be expanded, these coordinates. So where the homogeneous components B10 this of degree J are of the form, with the condition that P runs over those integers in the interval, this P0 to P n minus m, and have the same parity as n minus m, and Q runs in the interval this minus Q to this and have the same parity. As indicated in Diprit and Diprit-Bartol, in the development of 34, the quantities I1 and I2 are to be taken as constant of integration, while phi1 and phi2 are to be determined as linear function of time in such a way that phi1 dot should be equal to in this fashion and phi2 dot should be equal to in this fashion, where this F2n and G2n are homogeneous polynomials of degree n in I1 and I2. So the all base we learnt from Diprit and Diprit paper only, to ensure the canonical character of. So today talking about him was very much justified for me. We need to insist that D'Alembert series satisfies the following. So these are all, D'Alembert series satisfies certain conditions. So these are, many things are 0, and these dots are only becoming 1, xx dot and y dot, and this all other things are becoming 0. Where the Poisson bracket also introduced. x dot is this. We notice, however, that first order polynomial components B110 and B01 are x and y of 26, and when we easily verify them. So this can be calculated. So these B10 whole square, this where B are B this are in the appendix 2. So appendix 2 is this. So coefficient occurring in equation 38 are this this Bj, Bi's are there. These are all. So we had the maxima, so we could do it. But when we are doing by hand, some small mistake, even if there is a small mistake, and that the whole analysis goes, because I'll tell you, we need to prove that these transformations are correct. So this is there proceeding as in Diprit and Diprit. So that's why, we so many times, because we are almost following the Diprit. We note that the second order component, this can be obtained as solution of the partial differential equations. So we have practically taken Diprit and Diprit's paper and then followed it in that fashion. And we didn't follow the approach what Dr. Bhatnagar and Halil were doing, because we had followed the approach perturbed frequencies, because that was giving simplification to the solution for us. Otherwise, it would have become, for them it was very complicated when they worked on with Coriolis and centrifugal force nonlinearity. You can see that it became very complicated. So S1, S2, these are all the things calculated. All these have come. A lot of algebra is involved in this. But you see, this is all, and the base is given there in the Whittaker's book. If you read that, you will get that. Now this is, we have calculated all these coefficients. This is important. This is the most important things are these coefficients. B012 and the other one B10, this thing, non-vanishing this. Non-vanishing this is assumed here. It is assumed that mu C1 and T, the coefficient R and J, functions of the angular frequency of mechanism, provided in appendix 3. This is appendix 3. So all these, when we were doing by hand, we were able to 95% we were correct, but at least 1 or 2 were going wrong. But when we obtained it, so we have spent a lot of time on this problem. 91 we were working, then we had afterwards, and then it took, I think we have taken more than a year to do all this problem. So something I've missed here. Final answers, I think somewhere I have missed it, whether I have taken it or not taken it. Reduction to third order, where now you see here, I forgot actually to put in this thing, but anyway, when I give the lecture notes, then I will put it. Now this is reduction of third order terms in H. For formally checking the correctness of the expression presented in appendix 1 and 3, B110, B0, B101, B210, B201, we need to verify that the third order coefficients, That is coefficients of I1 3 by 2, I2 3 by 2, I1 square root I2 square root I1 in the transform Hamiltonian under the transformation. X1 is equal to B1 10 plus B2 10, Y is equal to B1 0 plus B2 01 vanish identically. Vanish identically means we have three parameter here. Mu is there, and A1 term and A1 gamma terms are there. So this can be done by individually considering the coefficients of I1 3 by 2 cos phi. So you take coefficient of this I1 raised to 3 by 2 cos phi 1, I1 raised to 3 by 2 sin phi 1. For example, the coefficient of I1 3 by 2 cos phi 1 in the transform Hamiltonian can be seen this. Now all those long things when you put inside this must be equal to 0. Omega 1 and all this when you substitute there. Otherwise, we cannot say that our transformation is correct. Because when we were doing it, when by hand and when we were substituting, this was not coming. So that's why we did a lot of because there are a lot of combinations where you can satisfy, you can prove. I mean, you have to see that all are coming. So that all should be involved. Whatever you have calculated, everything should be involved there. All transformations. Mostly they see R1, S1. So many we have calculated there. So all should be there. Then you can say that okay, your whatever R1, R2, S1, S2, all those you have calculated are okay. Utilizing the involved expression for the appendix 1 and 3 as obtained in this thing, vanishing independently for A1 and also you see verified for 43 vanish independently with respect to A1. A1 terms will have separately A1 gamma we have 1 minus 2 mu. Gamma is equal to 1 minus 2 mu, and independent terms which are all independent, only mu terms are there. A1 terms are not there. Similarly, they all should have they should vary identically. They should become 0. If something is not becoming 0, that means that coefficient is not correct. Similarly, the other coefficients of this, such as I1 3 by 2 sin phi, cos 3 phi, are also found to be 0 independent. So these are three: sin phi separate, cos phi and cos 3 phi, sin 3. Like that, they will come more independently. Vanishing of the coefficients I2 3 by 2 follows from the symmetry of the expression, because the expression is symmetric. So once you do for one fellow, other will also be, the algebra will be similar, because the terms are only changing phi 1 to phi 2 like that inward. Again, noting that the coefficients of the I1 square root I2 phi 1 in the transform of Hamiltonian as this, because we did all these tests before we send the paper for publication, because otherwise now at that time we had maximum by that time, so we could correct it if something has gone wrong there. So this is see what I'm trying to say is R10, R9, all whatever we have calculated, everything should come inside calculation involved, so that the testing is done for each is contributing. They are all long terms. So it has also been verified to be 0. And they are also independent terms, A1 terms, A1 gamma. So this is where we got a great happiness. And when we checked, Whittaker says this. Whittaker book has got, he has written there. So also the other coefficients of I1 square root 2 symmetry establishes that the coefficient of I2, I1, 2 vanish independently. So this is where, and then the Moses second condition, following the iterative procedure of 100, we note that the third order the homogeneous components B310 and this can be obtained by solving the partial differential equations now. So 100 thing also they played an important role. So he is also used. So this is there. Maybe if I get time, deep-read paper also we can, because that's simple to from those people who want to work, they first should learn the deep-read paper, then start the complicated ones. So these are all partial differential equation is to be solved. These are we carried out. Our A1 even gamma term independent, that helped us quite a lot to solve the algebra. So it came in this fashion. Now we find that F20 is A1, F02 and G02, and H has come in this form. Now result in B. Now you see we are using maximal software, it is derived that A1 is equal to this. A1 is equal to this. All these, you see the term come, this is independent term, this is A1 term, this is A1 gamma term. And B has come, B is equal to B term here, B A1 term and A1 gamma term. B1 gamma term has also come. C is here, C is A1 and A1 gamma term has come. And then we calculate, then now D we are, now hence D is equal to, we are writing this D. Moses' second condition is satisfied if in the interval mu, that 0 to mu naught, mu C naught, critical mass that is 0.038, and for us it will be less. The mass parameter does not take the value mu C3, which makes D is equal to 0. Now, this has to be solved for D is equal to 0. This was again a big challenge to solve this. I'm telling my experience how we had. So, but we were good in numerical mathematics because space center means we are doing a lot of numerical analysis. So we had, and Dr. Subara was also very learned man in this area. And so we had made a program, and then we solved the whole thing, and we could find out the solution for this. We put a perturbation scheme, mu is equal to this plus alpha 0, and alpha we have to calculate, attempt to determine alpha from D is equal to 0. So we carry out this thing. Alpha came out, it follows that alpha is equal to this. D0, D0 to be evaluated at the unperturbed values. Numerical computation yield alpha, a small value, 0.0294. So this value came. So then we have mu C is equal to this value. So as already indicated earlier, this is in conflict with because it will become in conflict with this, is explainable. All necessary this derivation. So because of we can't, from their expression, we can do, if their algebra was correct, then we would have, this would have become a particular study only, because they have done a more general study. They have taken the terms as this thing, but that problem came there. That's why this could not be brought as a particular case. These were already I have showed you there. A lot of these things are there. So these are the references there, what we gave there. Arnold has written a book, very good book also. Arnold, that I think book also we should follow. Those who want to work on the nonlinear or any area, that dynamics by Arnold is a very good book. It is written. It is in English, and this is the paper when which we had to which we have. So this and that other debate paper. And the paper which Dr. Bhatnagar and Hallan paper is there. Yeah, this paper. This is Coriolis and centrifugal force. The problem came from there only because of the two coordinate system. Once the bigger primary is to the right and other bigger primary to the right. That's why when my student was working, Prashant was working, I told him don't change the coordinate system. Otherwise, we will not be able to verify the results. I had the experience, I was knowing. So even then, it doesn't matter, even in thesis, the two coordinate system go in different chapters, doesn't matter. But if you use it uniformly, for example, I use it uniformly because I did not had that problem, because I was doing right from the beginning in the same problem. But when he was working with Pedersen's work, I said Patterson has done he has taken the primary onto the bigger, more massive onto the left side, and otherwise we are taking to the right side. So, but you continue that. Otherwise, the verification, because it's a very complicated paper by Patterson. If we don't verify, then we are not sure whether we are doing correct or not. So that worked for him, and that I got the thing from there only. So you learn only when you sometimes you pay penalty for that. So these are all the things. Okay, now I'll tell you the non-linear stability of L4 in the restricted three body problem, and the bigger primary is a triaxial rigid body. Of course, they were writing bigger only, but of course, I never afterwards, after my thesis revision, I was writing only more massive primary, because I have paid the penalty. Like I had to revise my thesis, so when I paid the penalty, and then we said it is not bigger, it is more massive. So I forgot about the bigger word. Even then, I started with bigger only this thing. So they had generalized. Professor Hallan and Professor Bhatnagar, they already did nonlinear stability, and probably this may be a doctoral thesis work for Jain. I am not sure, Professor Jain, Dr. Jain. Now, but it's a very complicated. You can see when you add the oblate, you have made a triaxial, how complicated the problem became. That I just wanted to show you. They have really, I have to appreciate their efforts. It is a wonderful efforts, because the kind of work must have gone, even with the algebraic manipulators or whatever manipulators, it is not an easy task. So you can see here, this is the same thing, and you take an oblate. So these are all the values which we obtained, and these are the values coming because of the body is triaxial. So this has been defined in that fashion. Let me tell you, I want to be you can see here, of course, this is the one, where the linear analysis came, first paper on Coriolis and centrifugal force, where if you take both the forces separately, then this critical mass works in this fashion. Now this is the same thing, Arnold's theorems. It's a generalization of mostly our work. So you see that now what is happening is this term, this sigma 1 and sigma 2, these are defining those coefficients, triaxial when you are taking a body. So you can see that sigma 1 is equal to, because the A1 square minus AC square by 5R square, and sigma 2 is equal to B square minus C square by 5R square. So because of that, the mean, this will be reflected in the mean motion also. So this is 2 sigma 1 and this is sigma 2. Okay. So this is the mean motion, which also gets changed because of the triaxiality of the body. Something has come from there. So the equations of motion are written. So y has come here. See, this can create a lot of algebraic problems. A lot of algebra must have gone changed. Y has gone here, because in this term there is no y, only R1 in the denominator. This is constant. So this is to be, so x and y, they are located. So P1, P2, P. I'm today. I'm also benefited, because I'm reading this paper now only. Even then, I knew this paper is there, because we were not working on that problem. So I just had the look only. Now, because of deliver a lecture, I thought this is. Now you can see the coefficient, the kind of the complications will come in the calculations. The involvement of the calculations will be quite large. These are all the L0, L1, L2, L3. So to simplify it, that sigma 1, sigma 2 has been written as A1, A2. So where it is there. This is the Hamiltonian, same approach, the Hamiltonian approach, but so this has come. Now this is the, if you take the triaxial body, so this is further added. That is further it is reducing. The critical mass is further reducing. So it's very clearly written there. And if you take oblate body, so this value comes. This is Subbarao Sharma. This is our value. This value comes. So this is the additional value because of the triaxiality of the body. So when d is equal to 0, so these are all added further. So this is there. Whatever A2 terms are there, they are additionally added now, wherever they are coming. So this is added here. You know, this was what we have obtained up to this. So this is added A2 term. A2 term is added here. So A2 has been added. Gamma square also A2 has been added. Here they are also looking quite simple only. They are not looking here. They are not looking complicated. So P1, P this they are A2 terms. These are A2 terms. And there are some complications now. Little bit complications have already come here. The calculation wise, I'm telling. The method is similar. Second order is done. This is similar. These are all written B1, B2, B3. So see, it's very clearly they are mentioned. This is published in Celestial Mechanics, and this paper was cited. This was cited. Still, citation is less. It should have been more. Maybe non-linearity people are working less. I have given the citation also to this. 16 times. 16 times is a little less for this paper. It should have been more. But maybe non-linearity works are less. Most of the people, it's not easy to work on non-linearity. So they are very clearly said. See, because otherwise the paper will already is a very very long paper in the journal Celestial Mechanics. But they said the values of this are same as those of in the paper Sharma and this, and all these are given in this. So whatever is with respect to now they are A2s are given, A1 etc. They are same. So this all RIs are coming in the same fashion. All R2s are different. So these are all whatever is given are there. You can see the terms going to the. You see the kind how much large. Only one I could put here. There. That's why we should appreciate their efforts. You know, wonderful appreciate this efforts for this work. Second order normalization, third order, third order terms be in the xy and the second order polynomial f2 and f0 in the frequency phi1 dash and phi2 dash satisfy the same partial differential equation. Same thing we'll have to do here. You can see here. Now they have come A, B. Now A, B, this is additional. A is there. A1 and this is additional. This term is additional, and this term is not a small term. This is A1 gamma and xi etas are big. You know, xi etas are quite big. This is A1. This is okay. This is what we have located. This is xi and eta A2, and xi etas are quite big. Where that also you can see there later. And this is B. So xi eta is also here. See also xi dash eta dash are there. Now you see xi, how big is the xi? These where xi this are given in the appendix. This is xi there. There only one xi, but this is such a huge thing, which is again function of many other things. Xi, eta, zeta. So many terms are are involved inside there. Where so all these terms you need to substitute. So it's a very big This is that is this thing. Now, since the condition of Mose, stability, Birkhoff, so these things anyway, these will come. They won't create much problem. These two. Now the problem is only for the third one. D, this one. So R there, R is there, R maybe what we obtained. R dash must be quite big. R dash is this. Again, it contains zeta and other things. Zeta, xi dash, eta dash. So they are quite long values, quite big value, big expression for this. So it is seen from their Mosaic condition satisfied this way is not this, does not satisfy mu3. So they have got at this value as this beta to be this value. This corresponding to this value 772. So this is these things, but so then they can come, once you put b2 is equal to 0, and then our results will come. And if you put this all 0 equal to, then Debreit results will also come. So these are all Debreit as calculated. These values agree with those found in Debreit and Debreit values. So these are all agree with Subbarao Sharma. These values, this value. So acknowledged to the center. But the thing is, they have nowhere proved that this transformation, what they have got, that third order Hamiltonian, whether those terms become 0. Because unless that is done, we cannot say the transformation developed is free from any algebraic errors. So that is not nowhere I have seen. The full thing I have taken from there. So that is where somebody should verify. I don't know this. To program this itself is a big thing. Whether you can verify this is difficult. I don't know. These are the references given. And it is because the facilities of the Center for Fundamental Research, where we are, under which we are delivering this lecture, they are providing that. Is thankful to this, because a lot of facilities have been provided there, computational facilities and other things, and a lot of research has been carried out at this center. So this work is an excellent work carried out. It's not easy to do this kind of work. I wanted to do one more thing also. They have done one more paper. Just let me show you. On 2 or 3, I think are their papers, because it is where nonlinear stability. Nonlinear stability. Are you able to see this? Do you see this paper?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can see. Yeah.
Okay, this is the nonlinear stability of L4 in the restricted three-body problem, when the bigger primary is a triaxial body and a source of radiation. So that work, what they did, last one, what I am showing, it is further extended to source of radiation also is added. So one source of radiation added, you can see there. So the A1, A2, this is the same thing what is earlier paper, and these are the terms which are come now. So this must be a very complicated work, further complicated. So you can see the equations of motion become, this is source of radiation, the more massive primary, Q is there here. Q is there here, and then Q is here, and Q should have been here also. I don't know why Q has not been put here. And more massive primary is taken here, Q should be here also. Anyway, that since I am seeing now, I can't make this thing. So this paper, you can see it, because I won't make any this thing, because I have not studied it, but I can show you the kind of algebra must have gone here. It's a very huge paper. Further extension of the work. Approach is same, method is same, but only thing is that term is extra term is there, and that can lead to the computational complexities will increase. Stability. These two are okay. These two can be calculated without much problem. The problem comes with the third value. third value has been calculated. So G, the main paper is not very long, but maybe the other values must be quite long. Alpha, beta, G. This is the value which has come by radiation pressure, G. This is by oblateness, the triaxial body, this thing. This is the oblateness what we have obtained. So these are all the references. There may be, I think, one or two more paper because I saw only this paper. I also wanted to, so you can see here the kind of calculations must have gone. Quite a long, long paper. Where some of the things are already not written because they are already available in the other papers. So this paper has to be read with respect to the other papers. We appreciate their efforts, Mr. Sanjay Jain and Halan Saab and Dr. Bhatnagar. Is such a laborious job, and they have found out the values. Only thing is, they could have done that H3 is equal to 0. Some proof should have been, some at least one term they should have proved. So where all the transformations should have come there, then one can say all the transformations are correct. So this is also over. I think with this today's lecture, I think we can conclude today's lecture.